If you haven't got problems, I feel bad for your son. I got 99 problems and a bitch ain't one.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to 99 Problems and a Stitcher Ain't One. I'm Damian.
And I'm Ian. Hello.
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 Ian, that's a hell of a top that you've got on. Are you a fan of the Houston Astros?
The Houston Astros. No idea what that is. But yeah, this is a West Germany top. I thought I'd wear it for you in honor of your Baron Zemo and Red Skull issues. The West Germany, before the unification and after the little problems in the early 19th or early 20th century.
Sure.
Yeah, this is my favourite football or soccer team. West Germany. This is what made me fall in love with international football. So
Oh, wow. Okay.
that's
So,
why.
did you was there a particular stadium that you used to like to look through or enjoy it at, or you just watched it on the as you guys call it, the telly?
Yeah, on the telly,
Huh?
1990 World Cup.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the West Germany team just caught my eye. Lothar Matthäus in particular, and yeah,
Okay.
I've been sort of fan of them ever since. Of course, Bonnie Scotland as well, but yeah,
Well, there you go. All right. Yeah, I heard that
that's why.
they were victorious, so it was from the wind though, and then to the wall. So till communism falls.
Communism
Yeah.
falls, yeah, and they actually did win the World Cup that year, so
No kidding.
it
Oh,
works.
wonderful. There you go.
But
Nice.
that's
No,
not
the
what we're
Houston.
here to talk about, is it,
No,
Damien?
we're here to talk about the Houston Astros from the early 1980s, who had a very
Absolutely,
similar
yeah.
jersey. Yeah, absolutely. With Mike Schmidt playing for the Royals. It was good times.
Oh, of
No,
course, yeah.
beyond that little niche of information, though, today we are talking about the ISO-8 mods because I am confused all to hell. So this is episode 7. What if? And it's what if I understood the ISO-8s? I don't know what they are, and they look like a cool thing that might boost my characters in some way. So hey, Ian, what if I want to boost
Yeah.
stats for my characters using ISO-8s?
Well, the ISO-8s, they've just come in relatively recently. You can sort of farm them from the ice. They've got a special currency because you've got your energy
Mhm.
that you can do all your campaigns and things like that with. Well, the
Mhm.
ISOs have got their own currency, and you can
Right?
get little sort of training materials for,
Hmm?
which we'll go into in a little bit, and then the
Okay.
actual ISO upgradey things. There is a name for them. I don't know what it is, but these I'm showing on screen just nice
Uh-huh.
little purpley. They look like rosettes on the side, a daintily coquettish rosette,
Okay.
and you can farm them as you would do your normal sort of campaign energy.
Mhm.
Now, where they come into play
Mhm.
is when you go into a certain character that you might
Mhm.
want to upgrade. Let's
Sure.
go into one that I've not maxed out so far because it does cost a lot to max them out. Let's go into Phoenix and see what we can do with her. Right, so on the right hand side of the screen, you've got a little sort of like 5 spaces to where you should put in your ISOs.
Mhm.
And then you have a larger screen of it, and you can update your ISOs, put them in as you wish. And once you've got level 1 on each of
Mhm.
them, you can go into the middle of it and equip them as striker, fortifier, healer, skirmisher, or raider. Now, they sort of add extra and different skills to the character. Each one, each one is best suited, certainly to individual characters. Sometimes you can mix and match, but it does
Okay.
cost you.
So I'm looking at mine, and I just pulled up Thor, and I think I've done it right. I don't know. I have not the one that's, and I wish I could show you on my screen, but not the one that's going directly west, but northwest.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got that filled up with 3 gold rectangles at the bottom,
Right.
and it's
Okay.
offering me the opportunity to fuse them. What is that? And have I done it wrong?
Fusing them is basically when you get the. Well, let's have a little look on this one. For my Thor here, I
Hmm.
would have to upgrade them to 4 because I've already got them at the 3 little yellow bars. So obviously the next step is 4.
Sure.
Now, if you can see on the screen, of the actual ones that have the 4 yellow bars on them, I have 0 of them. So when it's asking me if I want to fuse them, it's asking if I'm wanting to fuse the 163 of the level 1 ones that I have.
I see.
And it will cost me 15,000 coquettish rosettes to do so.
That's exactly what mine is offering as well.
But of course, if I had one of those, if I pulled one of those from an orb or something like that per se, then that could go straight in and it wouldn't cost you anything.
Ah, okay.
So that's how that works.
So I hit fuse, and now the plus sign on it disappeared entirely, and it turned into a square with diagonals going into it, and now it's got a little glowy green circuit piece coming into the middle.
Right, okay, that is when you can update your ISO. So let's do one live on screen. Why not?
Sure,
who will I
please do.
Let's do Jubilee, because I've not done her so far. So I should have plenty to get her to level 1. So because I've got a load of level 1 ISOs for Jubilee, I can just go ahead and equip them. I can equip every single one of them. And once they're fully equipped, that is when the little sort of green, is that a hexagon? How many sides is that? 3, 6,
That is a
8,
hexagon, indeed.
8 hexagon. And then that should glow up a beautiful green, although it hasn't. But let's just go into it anyway. And then from there, you can choose whether you want to have her as a striker, a fortifier, a healer, a skirmisher, or a raider. There's a little description under each one of what they do. Basically, your healing characters, if you like, maybe your support characters, you might want them to be a healer. If they've got a passive healing, they will do a lot more healing damage, or healing ability, should I say. The likes of the striker, if someone is vulnerable, which they are made vulnerable by skirmishers. So when a skirmisher takes a turn, they will put a little sort of purple dot on top of the character.
Looks like the crosshairs sometimes.
Yeah, that's basically making them vulnerable. And if you had someone that was a striker, then they would basically get 2 shots at them. So you're wanting like your bigger characters, the likes of your heavy hitters, your kind of Black Bolts. Who else? Black Bolt and Black Bolt as well. Yeah, because he's just such a heavy hitter. Maybe Thor as well. He's quite a heavy hitter. Maybe on striker, because they will hit once and then they'll go back for a second time. Obviously doing double the damage.
Sure.
Fortifier protects themselves with a bit of a barrier. So maybe if they're a bit of a squishy character, stick Fortifier on them.
Or if they're a tank, because then it makes them even harder to take down.
Well, that is true, yeah. You can do that as well. It depends. There is a cracking website. A guy called Reminex, who has basically spent, I think, thousands upon thousands of pounds or dollars. It doesn't matter if it's thousands, because it's still thousands of pounds or dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of money he's spent. He is a proper whale. But he's basically done it for the Marvel Strike Force community. He's tested out all the best ISOs for each individual character, or it's him and a group of people have done it. And we'll put a link in the description, in the comments, a link to his website, or to it's basically a Google Sheets page. But it sort of details all the sort of the best ones that they've tried out for each individual character. And that is really useful. That, full disclosure, I've used that for every single one. That's why, even though I've got level 1 on Jubilee, I've no idea what one to use. I'm going to go on his web page and have a look.
Gotcha.
It's not a team that I use at all at the moment. But that is ISOs, basically. It's kind of recommended that you get up to level 3 in the teams that you use regularly.
Okay, so get the 3 bars below the thing.
3 bars, yeah. if you want to kind of whale out, if you like, then take them up to 5. But it does get the rise in cost is quite steep.
Gotcha.
Getting them to 3 can be relatively cheap if you're farming them every day with your 3 refreshes of your
Sure.
energy. Getting them up to 5, it can take away from potentially getting other ones up to 3. So what I'd recommend certainly is getting the vast majority up to 3. And then if you're feeling flush with your ions, that's the name of the coquettish rosettes, ions.
Oh, okay.
Then take them up to 5 by all means. But yeah,
Okay.
it's completely player preference.
So let me ask you this then. Let's say that I'm looking at my Thor, and I've got 4 in the northwest corner. Do I want to put any ISOs in any of the other spots?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Because when you get, I'll go back to Jubilee. Where has she gone? That legendary Jubilee. Right, so at the moment I've got 1 on each of her spots, okay? So say I wanted to have her as a striker. Got a feeling that I don't, but I'll do that anyway. Oh, it's daily refresh. Right, so these are all the kind of the advantages that you get from upgrading 1 through 5. So if you apply it on, let's just apply it on level 1 because it won't make much difference because I can swap them out at any point because it is just level 1. Then I've completely forgotten your question. We'll edit this out. No, we won't. Complete bloopers. You were asking about if you could put them on other levels. Right, yeah.
Correct.
So if I wanted to, let's go back out of this. Basically, too long, didn't read. Unless you're going to upgrade the lot of them, don't put any on any of them. Because if I had, say, on the first 3, I had them all at 2 yellow rectangles, if you like, and the last 2 just on 1, that would make no difference. She would still be a level 1 striker. And level 2 will only kick in when you get all 5 of them at level 2.
Gotcha.
So there's no point unless you're saving up, and you want to make sure that you're not wasting them on anyone else, and you're just waiting for that one.
Sure.
But you'd probably do that maybe when you're getting to level 3, certainly level 5. If you don't want to waste your little materials on anyone else, if you want to say, right, Jubilee is the one that I want to take to level 5, and I will just put every single resource I can, when I can, into Jubilee's kit. But I wouldn't recommend that, certainly not.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right. Well, just in the time that you've done that, people can see that I'm looking a little off camera. I've already, because I had over 2.1 million of these things just saved up, the currency. Well, because I didn't know what I was doing, and I figured we've got a show. I should wait for that. And so I have now made Captain America a level 5 fortifier, and I've made Thor, I believe, a level 4 striker.
Right.
And that's jumped them up by quite a bit. Cap is
yeah.
now 47,000, and Thor is now 43,000. And it looks like I've just got a little ways to go with him still, because I still need to fuse others.
Right, so you've got 2.1 million of those coquettish rosettes.
Well, I did. Now I have 1.39.
Yeah.
With just spending them on.
I thought I was quite flush with having 313,000. So
well, again, you know what you're doing though. Like yours were actually of you. Like I'm the guy who has all the batteries in the cabinet, and I've never used any, and I'm still using candles. So like, you actually are using a flashlight. I believe you guys call those torches, but you're using that and actually seeing things at night, whereas I'm just burning myself. But we don't like to kink shame here, so it's okay.
But certainly, taking Cap to 5 Yeah, I wish we'd had a chat about that, because I would have said, hell
Yeah.
no, don't do
Well,
that, man.
he is, I still do have that really odd irrationality about me when it comes to this game. And although, it occurs to me now that you mentioned West Germany and the Zemo and Red Skull, because it's very likely the United States absolutely would have hired them for their science programs and just brought them over here and given them a full pardon. So it's not comfortable. But okay. So the other question I have is, are there good or bad ISOs? ISO-8s. Are there good or bad ones? Are they good or these kind of remind me of mods from another game
Right.
whereby there are bad ones, but are there good or bad ones in here, or is it just kind of they add up?
When it comes to sort of the good or bad, it's
Mm-hmm.
just about the choices that you make,
Okay.
on where to place them. For example, let's go to my old friend Black Bolt.
Mm-hmm.
I've upgraded him to the sort of the 5 ISO tier. He's as high as he can be, and I've got him as a striker,
Mm-hmm.
because again, if someone has vulnerable, he's going to hit them once like a tank, then hit them again like a tank because he's a striker,
Right.
and then if they're down to a red health bar, he's going to hit them again. So
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Well,
So
that's lovely.
there's no point in, even though, I mean, he's not particularly squishy or anything like that, but he's by
Mm-hmm.
no means sort of tanky. But I'd never have a healer on Black Bolt. That would just be a complete waste. So that'd be
Mm-hmm.
certainly a bad use of the ISO.
Oh, okay.
You can maybe put him in a couple of other ones, but for him, it's really only a strike. Only a striker would do, really.
Okay.
So those are the kind of the bad decisions that you can make. But as I say, I've been using Reminex's spreadsheet, and that sort of keeps you right, really. It's detailed by team,
Mm-hmm.
and who and
Well, I
what their
like
kind
that.
of the priority that you should sort of like do them type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Which team is good to have sort of heavy ISOs on, which one's not.
Sure.
But again, it completely depends at where you are in the game. Because I do know that Black Order, you're
Mm-hmm.
sort of the highest priority to get your ISOs on. But if you've not got Black Order and you're nowhere near getting Ebony Maw, then
Mm-hmm.
sort of suit it to your play style.
Right.
But certainly be aware that the ISOs, even because I mean I did have quite a lot of the currency as well at one point,
Mm-hmm.
and then when I found this spreadsheet, that's when I splurged the lot,
Smart.
because I sort of knew where the currency should be going and how I should be using it.
Okay.
But yeah, money in the bank when it comes to this can always be a good thing. If there's nothing that you need to do urgently, nothing that's going to improve your team dramatically in the short term, just wait for a bit more medium term thinking.
Okay.
Because a great character unlock could be just round the corner that will take your team to the next level, and you'll want to
Absolutely.
put a load of ISOs on them.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. Excellent. Cool. Well, that answers and demystifies a lot of the ISO problems. Like to the point where I've spent down almost 1 million of them, and probably making bad decisions. But now at least I know why my decisions were bad, and that is always worth having as information goes, I suppose. So, okay. If anybody wants to find you, where can they find you on the social medias?
It's pretty much at iMcPun on all of your usual social medias. I'll put the links in the description. For puns, that's what I do, puns, one-liners, and also I've started up a gaming channel as well. But as I say, all links in the description. What about
you
yourself,
go.
Damian?
Well, you can find me at Duh Harmony on most of the socials. There's 2 H's in the middle there. And yeah, same deal. For lessons in Latin, for me yelling at American officials, you can find me pretty much doing all that. There's a little bit of comedy in there as well. There's a podcast called The Geek History of Time. There's a pun show that I reference a few times here and there. So yeah, you can pretty much find it all in the descriptions, just like Ian said. So.
Nice.
All right. Well, I'm satisfied. You got anything more that you want to add, or shall I say what we normally say?
Let's say what we normally say.
Excelsior.